Dozens of pro-democracy politicians and activists in Hong Kong have been formally charged with subversion. Well, the group of 47 is the largest to be prosecuted under the national security law imposed by Beijing in June.
Chanting popular protest slogans, hundreds gathered outside this Hong Kong court. It's the largest rally the city has seen this year, despite coronavirus restrictions. Police warned people to split into groups of no more than 4, but crowds didn't budge. Officers raised the purple national security flag for the first time in months. They warned protesters that they were taking part in an illegal rally and that their chanting could breach the national security law. Also among the crowd, foreign diplomats who say they wanted to show their support for the activists.
The Chinese and Hong Kong authorities promised that the national security law would be used in a very narrow sense. It's clear that that is no longer being the case, and that's deeply concerning to us. So that's why we're here with a number of other foreign consulates.
The 47 politicians and activists are accused of organizing and participating in illegal primary polls last year. Authorities say the poll was part of a massive plan by the Democrats to overthrow the government.
I've got Roland Lim joining us live now with the very latest. So, Roland, just how serious are these charges that the activists are facing?
Yeah, this is a very big blow to the opposition camp in Hong Kong because of the seriousness of the charge. Remember, any infractions under the national security law could be life in prison. That's the most severe penalty for breaking the law. Well, the chances are the 47 that were having a court hearing today are more likely than not to be remanded in custody until their trial begins, although all 47 will have a right to appeal for a bail hearing at a later date. Prosecutions during the court session were heard saying that the 47 had conspired to subvert state power. The prosecutors argued that the pan-democratic camp leaders had planned to take control of the 70-seat legislature and that they wanted to paralyze the government and force Beijing to eliminate the one country, two systems rule, and also forcing or triggering international sanctions against China because of this. What the 47 did was, of course, last July, they held an unofficial primary poll to select the best candidates for its Legislative Council elections that was supposed to be held last September but has been postponed for a year because of the pandemic. Of course, the poll was postponed for a year, and 600,000 residents at that point in time, though, did turn up to support the runoff polls in order to select that short list of candidates. Some of the names of the 47 that you probably heard of, they include Benny Tai. He is co-founder of the Occupy Central movement. Joshua Wong and another cohort of his, Tam Tak Chi, they're both right now in prison for other protest offenses. They've also been charged. Others include Wu Chi-wai, who is the ex-Democratic Party chairman, Alvin Yong, who is the ex-leader of the Civic Party, as well as Leung Kwok Hong, who is also known as Long Hair, who is the co-founder of the League of Social Democrats.
Now, speaking of these, high-profile activists, apparently reports said that senior Beijing official did say that, people like Jimmy Lai, Benny Tai, and Joshua Wong, they should be facing severe punishment, which could include a life sentence. So, in other words, what does this say about the fate of all the other opposition activists in Hong Kong?
Well, opposition leaders here are saying that the environment here has turned from that of white terror in Hong Kong towards suppression, total suppression, i.e. that there should be no voices of dissent in Hong Kong. Political pundits also saying that the noose is tightening on the opposition camp because Beijing has now made it a prerequisite that only patriots can run Hong Kong, i.e. that any opposition members who want to actually vie for public office is unlikely to get a chance due to the guidelines that Beijing has set aside. It is, of course, also planning electoral reforms for Hong Kong very shortly. For those in the executive council, for those in the legislature, for that even in the judiciary, and also the state bodies, China is saying right now that only patriots, those who love the party, are loyal to the party, and that will safeguard national interests, those are the people that they want running Hong Kong from today onwards. And that's what Xia Baolong, who is the head of the Hong Kong Macau's office, he was having a symposium with local delegate members of the National People's Congress here, as well as the political consultative bodies. They were talking about the reform measures, that electoral reform process that Hong Kong could take. And that's when he mentioned these three people, as you mentioned, Jimmy Lai, who is the founder of the Apple Daily, Benny Tai, co-founder of the Occupy movement, and Joshua Wong, student activist, that they were considered vicious traitors, and that those who are anti-China and who instigate riots should not only not be able to hold public office, but also to be punished to the full extent of the law.
Thanks very much, Roland Lim there, speaking to us live from Hong Kong.